Back to chip theory. Now, I want to describe today now the keyboard from a certain position. When you look at all this, these keys, I mean, it's so confusing. What do I do with all these keys? Where do we begin? You know? So I'd like to begin here. Uh, Most people begin on this note here, this C. But when you look at this, it looks so confusing because when you go any certain distance away from C, it's all asymmetrical. So all these jumbled up black keys make everything all messed up. So we're going to begin here from our note D. And we're going to do that with poker chips. So here I'm going to put out a note D. Now uh, if D is here, what colored chip is going to be surrounding D? Is it going to be a white one here? Or will it be a blue one here? It's going to be a blue one coming from D. And what's funny about D is that it's the same on either side. If you noticed from the keyboard layout, we have a blue chip on either side. Now, continuing along, we can add on either side, would it be a white chip, right? On each side of D. You can see now that we're continuing in symmetrical fashion with a blue and a white to both sides of D. And what will the next one be? Would it be a blue chip? It could be this. But if it's this, is this still D? No, it's not. We have to add another white chip on either side like this. You can see now that we're still looking at something that resembles the pattern of D on a piano keyboard. And as we are continuing outward, now what would it be? It would be then a blue chip here, right, on both sides, still symmetrical from the center. A blue, two whites and a blue, and then we're going to add one more white here to either side. Okay, so here we have a pattern that is symmetrical. So if we were to count the distance from the D in the center to this note and to this note, we have something that resembles a symmetrical layout. And you can see here, if we count here from D, this would be from D to G on the right side, and from D down to A on the left side, that it is exactly the same distance in spacing. So you can see here how many half steps this is by counting the spaces between them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half steps up to G, which is a perfect fourth to G. Then we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half steps down in exactly the same pattern of blue and white chips, mind you, down to A. So we can see here from D to A below is also a perfect fourth interval. Now we can see here that these are not the same note. This is the A and this is G, but they are the exact same distance from D in both directions. So, again, speaking of sharps or flats of certain notes, we can see here, what do we have to do from when we have D? What chip is this one here? If we have D, we can say this is D to, what do we do when we sharp a note? We raise the pitch, we're going to add a sharp, so D sharp. And then we're coming from this direction, what would this note be? Well, this would be, how far is this? What is this note? If we have D sharp and when we want to raise it one, it becomes the E, right? This is E. Or you could call it D double sharp. Okay, D to E would be sharp once and sharp twice. D double sharp or E. Okay, or simply E. Again, when we come down from E to the same chip, it would be E to E flat. And what happens when we take this same chip, we can call it D sharp, and we want to come down to D. What must we do to go down from a sharp note 1/2 step? We're going to remove the sharp from D sharp to D natural. We then remove a sharp to D. Okay? So you can remove a flat to go up. If you want to go from E flat to E, you can raise it by removing the flat. E flat becomes E natural. Or you can remove a sharp. D sharp goes down to D natural. Okay? And I think a lot of people forget that if we're removing a flat, we are raising the note, and when we are subtracting a sharp, we are lowering the pitch. So, our next note here would be from E, now a 1/2 step to the F, or we could call this E sharp, right? And this note here can be, this could be E sharp or F, and if we come down from this note, the G to F, we could call this G double flat, because we can flat G once to F sharp and flat it again, or to G flat, and flat it once more. G double flat becomes this chip here, right? If we want to come down from F sharp to F, we remove the sharp, and if we want to come up from F to F sharp, we add a sharp. We can also remove the flat from G flat to come up to G natural. Alright, so you'll see that sort of thing in the sheet music. It's always either removing a flat, adding a sharp, removing a sharp, or adding a flat. Again, coming in this direction from D, the center, middle D here, to come down, what note comes before D in the musical alphabet? All right, think carefully. It's A, B, C, C, D. C comes before D in the musical alphabet. So the next chip down, if you're using a sharp name, is going to be a C sharp. You can also call it D flat. Again, if we're going to continue left from C sharp, we're going to have to remove the sharp. C sharp minus a sharp equals C natural. Again, we can move down again by flatting the C to C flat, or since this is only a 1/2 step, we could use the next letter in our musical alphabet. What comes before C? B, B natural. C, B, or C and C flat. Similarly, this can also be B, C, and B to C, B to B sharp. This could also be B sharp. If we have a B sharp and we want to come down to B natural, we have to remove the sharp, or flat the note. B sharp to B natural. That's what we do when we lower a note by 1/2 step. When we have from B here, what would be next? B flat or A sharp. And then of course A to B is a whole step. Right? B to C is a 1/2 step. C to middle D is a whole step. C sharp to E flat is a whole step. Okay, D to E is a whole step. E to F sharp is a whole step. D sharp to E sharp is a whole step. 1 and 2. E flat to F is a whole step. F to G is a whole step. So you can see here from this pattern, the layout, how it matches piano keyboard. We have the same layout of white, 2 blues, 2 whites, 2 whites, 2 blues, and 2 whites. Here.